Are you living the Delaware beach lifestyle? You can't live at the beach and do nothing. This up-and-coming year-round area has lots to offer. Find out where to eat, play, and serve. Living the ultimate dream.
All right. Welcome to the 302 Lifestyle Beach Podcast. We got Josh Mueller in the house. This guy is so awesome. He has brought some wildlife to the community, Barn Hill Preserve. And actually, my wife and I, Daisy, she's on, we went there with my family this past weekend. We got some sun. It's a little cold out, but the sun was out. The animals were there. And we had sloths crawling all over the place. And
kangaroos fighting.
And stepped on a little kangaroo poo.
A lot of it. It's awesome.
No, but it was really awesome. And it's not every day you get to see that kind of stuff here. And it's nice that Bethany Beach in Delaware, 302 area is having some real stuff to do around here. And it's really nice to have people involved with the community. Just to give you a little tidbit on Josh, he kind of has grown up here his whole life. So this guy, he got involved with some Barn Hill. I'll let you talk about it a little bit, Josh, but he got involved with that and decided to bring it to Delaware. And Josh, how did you get involved with all this? How did it even decide to want to do this? Tell us a little bit about how you got started.
Yeah, sure. So it kind of was a fluke, really, more than anything. I was actually going originally to college for pre-vet wildlife. And while I was studying there, I was trying to do some internship and volunteer work with, anything to do with animals. And one of my friends convinced me to do an internship with Barn Hill Preserve. And so when we went for our orientation, instead of interning, I decided just to get a job because they had an opening. I mean, you just get to go around and work with animals every day. You really can't say no to that.
Yeah.
And so I worked with them for a year. And right before coming home for the summer, I, really was thinking about how great it would be to have something like this back in my hometown, because we don't really have anything like it around. There's the Salisbury Zoo, and then there's the Brandywine Zoo, but they're pretty far apart from one another, and there's really just nothing in this exact area. So I talked with the owner, Gabe Ligon, of the Louisiana location, and said, this would be a great thing for us to bring back home. I'm all aboard for it. And so we said, we'll give it a shot for the summer. We'll see what happens. So I loaded up my car with a bunch of animals and came up north with them. And we started doing like summer outreach programs. So we would set up at the local businesses along the beach area, like somersaults. We did some of the hotels. Golf Down Under was like an Australian miniature golf course. That was actually the first place that ever said yes to me. And we were allowing people to do some close-up encounters with our baby kangaroo at the time. And everybody loved it. So a big part of what Barn Hill does is an outreach program with schools. And so after the summer, we decided to stay up here, and we started doing our schools around, first in the area here, but then, it just continues to grow and grow. And so we would visit schools up to 12 hours away from us. And we're visiting 3 schools at least a day, 5 days a week. And so it just kind of just kept going and going and going. And here we are now, 5 years later, and we're still going.
Wow. So you're doing 3 schools a day, 5 days a week.
Yeah. So we would have 3 different crews that would be in 3 different states at a time. And we would rent a house out there and travel with our animals and stay out there for, anywhere for 2 to 3 weeks at a time. And we would visit a school every single day. And our programs are awesome because there's no charge to the schools for them. So we do a lot of Title I schools, and, it doesn't cost them anything, and which is really good because they don't have a lot of money to be able to pay for things. So we're allowed to give kids the opportunity to see animals that never would be able to see them. Most of them have never been to a zoo. They don't even know what a kangaroo is unless if they Googled it. So, it was a really special thing that we're able to do. Now, come March, of course, we had to put a pause on it, but that also allowed us to be able to open our facility to the public, which, benefits the 302 area.
That's awesome.
Yeah, which is what I want to talk about. So, okay, so wow, that's really big deal that you're doing that with the schools, first of all. And it'd be nice So are you considering, like, once you had, now that you've had this established a little bit, are you still going to try to do the school thing?
We are, yeah. We want to do both. We're just waiting for things to kind of get back to a normal. Once that happens, then we'll be able, maybe not do 3 crews, since we have a lot of work still to do here, but to have 1 or 2 of them that are operating in some of the different states in the Northeast, while focusing a lot on building our facility and giving something special for the community to see.
Yeah, and before we get too far into this, guys, this is already sounding like something you want to get a part of, or you want to get tickets or go see these animals. They're really cool. You're going to go to barnhillpreserve.com. We're going to put some links down below. I just wanted to pop that in real quick. And so now you are located in Frankfurt, which is an interesting place if anyone's from around here. So what made you choose that area? How did you get where you are now?
It's the coolest part I think of it is where we are is actually my childhood home. So this is where I grew up.
You can't beat that.
Yeah, I mean, I've got some of my neighbors, are the kids that I grew up with, and
oh my gosh,
it's pretty special to be able to have it just right here. Now, like I was saying earlier, this really wasn't the whole place that we wanted to be or the original location, but I am really excited to still have it here because I get to share where I grew up with everyone else.
I think somebody knows something we don't know, because Salted Vines is back in that area. You got there's a lot of places kind of, and I think even like down Roxana and down towards Selbyville, like that whole area is starting. I think some big developments are starting to pop up.
Yeah.
So wow, how exciting! And it's nice to have that spot because I'm sure you have some room to grow into. Is that?
We do. Yeah, so we have a little over 7 acres here. So we honestly just utilize such a small part of it right now that the public gets to see. We have more that's like the behind the scenes, but we're actually right now working on going into phase 2 of our building to be able to have more of it used.
Can we know some more about that? What's phase 2?
So right now we're finishing up phase 1, which the big project that we're trying to finish in the next couple months is our new sloth room. So we're building a huge structure, a huge building for our sloth and our aardvark. Since we have 5 resident sloths that live here and everybody loves them so much that we decided that I think it's time for them to have, a nice special building just for them.
So that's nice.
We're currently in the buildings of that, and then we have an aardvark that lives with us. His name is Dougal. He's actually been featured on a couple TV shows. He's been on the Jimmy Fallon show. He's been on the Today Show.
That.
Yeah, so he's kind of a big deal, in the area. But we want to be able to have him for everyone to be able to start seeing as well. And then once we get that part done, we're going to start working on our phase 2. That's going to allow us to have some larger animals like camels and like Watusi cows and things like that. So
holy cow.
Cool. So how do you get these the animals in here?
So we work with different zoos and other facilities that are like us all throughout the country. We have great partnerships with other facilities that when they have some babies that are born, we're usually able to, work something out to be able to bring some of them to ours. And then we can also trade our animals with them as well. So that way we can continue to have the gene pool, populated and not constantly breeding the same animals.
Right.
Yeah, no, you have a great staff, by the way, and they were educating everyone on how like some of the populations have been like dwindling, and through some of these programs like the one you're involved with, you guys have been able to kind of raise the population on some of these animals, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So I mean, a couple animals that we have, for one is the 3-binted armadillo. They're actually a threatened species.
Saw them. He was so cold. He was like shivering.
He goes crazy when there's like people around. He's so funny. He has so much energy.
Yeah.
They're one that we're able to breed and create more of them, which is really important because even though they might not be in the wild, we're increasing their population in general. Down in Louisiana, we also have small-clawed Asian otters, which are becoming a threatened and endangered species. throughout Asia. So it's, really special to be able to help these populations to continue to grow. And, sometimes we're even able to set up ways of releasing them in the wild, obviously not in Delaware, but other facilities have been able to bring back populations that were almost wiped out.
Now, I know people are thinking it, including my sister who may be listening. What about pets? Now, is it safe for people to have some of these pets? I know your staff was teaching us a little bit about that and how it's not, well, I'll let you.
Yeah. So that's a big thing that we try to teach people is about animal husbandry. And, the majority of the animals we have, we do not recommend as a pet. Well, is a big no-no.
Yeah, people are usually getting them and then finding out that it's way overwhelming or they don't know how to take care of them right. Then they end up either letting them go or just giving them away, and it's really not a good thing. Right?
It is. Yeah, it is definitely a big problem. Reptiles, tend to be a problem. They seem like something easy to take care of, but there's actually a lot of care that is required for them, from their diets to making sure that their bones grow correctly, humidity levels, things like that. So, if you want to get something as a pet, definitely, go with smaller animals. Don't go for the big
like the armadillo.
Armadillo still.
I don't know.
Like a hedgehog, that's something if you want to do something like that. But
not an armadillo. And armadillos only have one baby, right? One baby at a time.
One at a
That's
time.
So cool.
Yeah, they're cool. They're like the size of, I would say, like a racquetball.
I bet that's so cute.
A little bit smaller than a tennis ball, but
it's probably dangerous though, because then you almost like crush it or something, right? Is it like scary?
Yeah, I mean, the mom like huddles up, they sleep together, and it's got to still drink milk from the mom. But they're really cute.
So, side note, my mother grew up in a garden. Well, she didn't grow up. She worked in a garden center and her whole life, and so I would always get these unique animals as pets. And I ended up getting tree frogs and praying mantises and all kinds of weird stuff. But she brought me an iguana, which isn't, that's kind of common.
That's cool.
But, I made a little leash for it and I took it outside and I thought I was going to, walk it around like a dog. And he ends up getting out of the leash and runs up a tree, and then we moved. So that was my sad story for trying to have a lizard.
Funny that you say that, because we do have a green iguana and we have actually a leash for her as well.
Oh, they
around on a leash.
I'm a little older now. Maybe I could do it. I don't know.
Yeah, there's a special leash for him. It's not just like a regular one.
Yeah. It's not just a leash around the neck. It's like a harness or something, right?
Like a harness.
Yeah,
that's funny. Yeah, that was my dinosaur I let loose in the wild.
All right, people.
So, Josh, man, I want to keep talking about these animals a little bit and then dive into maybe, since you've been here your whole life, we get a lot of people moving here from all over the place, DC, Baltimore, Philly. And I'd love to get your kind of feedback on some of the cool spots to check out in the area, especially for wildlife. But is there any plans to take on any like reptiles and lizards and stuff like that?
So we do have reptiles. We just don't have, a building yet where people can actually see them. So that's going to be for phase 2, where we'll build a nice building that's indoors, so you can walk through there and see some of our different reptiles, because they don't really like the cold very much. It's hard to keep them outside for long periods of time. But right now we have 22 different species that actually live at Barn Hill Preserve, and it's right around, I believe, 40 animals in total that actually.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah, so you just don't always see all of them. You only see usually, maybe 7 of them, but there's a lot more that are here.
Wow, that's really cool. And so if I know in the summertime, this past summer, we were seeing all kinds of places where the kangaroo guy was. So tell us a little bit about some of those places. Where can people find these places, or find the different areas where the kangaroos or different events, businesses,
like the different events.
That's what I'm looking for
with the kangaroos.
Yes,
and the sloths.
The best way to learn where we are is really Facebook. We're super active on it. So we're Barn Hill Preserve of Delaware. If you just do Barn Hill Preserve, you're going to see everything in Louisiana. So you want to make sure you don't mix those up. But every day, we have a post on there, especially in the summertime. We'll do weekly posts showing our schedule and where we're going to be. It kind of changes every year, so it's hard for me to say right now where we're going to be since we don't even know what summer's going to look
Oh, yeah,
like.
it's like February.
Yeah.
Okay. And if businesses want to get a hold of you to do some type of event, they would also go through Facebook to contact you guys.
It's a great way to do it. Message us through there. We'll get in touch with you and try to set something up. We're always looking for new places, and we've definitely got something exciting that we can bring to your business.
Yeah, sounds good.
Well, I know there's an event with Salted Vines, right, coming up?
Yeah. So right now we have 2 events that we're doing throughout the weeks. The first one is Salted Vines, and also we do the Sipping with Sloths with them. So at that event, it's for people that are over 21 because there is alcohol that's involved. But you get a free glass of wine and also cheese of your choice. And then everyone at your table is getting a chance to have an encounter with one of our sloths. So with the encounter, you get to hold our youngest sloth in his basket or her basket, depending on who it is. And we're going to take your picture with them. But we're also going to allow you to feed one of our older sloths as well. So we cut up zucchini into these little straw shapes, and you get just kind of feed it to them. And it's, really fun experience to have.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Area as well. Just hanging out with your friends for a little bit. The second event that we're doing is our paint night. So we do a paint night with our sloth because everyone loves sloths right now. So in Lewis, there is the Crooked Hammock. Also in Middletown, there's another Crooked Hammock, and in Fenwick Island at the new Hilton Hotel are 3 of our locations in Delaware. And with that, you actually get to, you're led through a class of painting a sloth. So we've got a professional how to paint the perfect sloth. But then at the same time, we have one of our sloths there. It's usually going to either be Noah or Forrest, and they're painters themselves. So they're able to hold the paint.
Oh my gosh.
And they're going to paint their own pictures that we later on raffle off for everyone to be able to get a chance to take home.
Oh, that's cool.
So cool.
Man, we're going to have to do that
We're
here.
have to find that event.
We're going to have to host one.
Yeah.
Cool. And just to throw in there, guys, if you're listening before we get to the end, if you mention 302 Lifestyle, Josh is giving you guys 10% off. And that's a really awesome deal. And man, I can't think of something better to do, especially in the wintertime. There's not too much to do around here. So it's really cool that you're serving the community with bringing some wildlife and just amazing stuff to do.
Yeah.
Cool, man. So you lived here your whole life. You've got these awesome critters here. Critters, animals, and some of them are bigger than me.
Yeah.
Here. So people that are moving into town, give us some recommendations on some of your favorite places to go check out. Do you have any favorite spots that you like to go?
There's a lot of places. I mean, I grew up in different areas around here. I mean, I lived where I am now when I was really young, and then we also lived in Bethany Beach and Fenwick. So I kind of had a chance to explore different parts of the state for sure. Sussex County. That seems like the state to me.
How about hiking? Any favorite hiking spots?
So if you go out to James Farm is a great place to go hiking, and you can dump right out on the bay there and be able to see a lot of wildlife. You can go kayaking there as well. That's one of my favorite places. There's so many state park trails actually back in that area that you can be able to jump on, and it doesn't cost you anything either, which is really nice.
Cool. All right. Favorite place to eat?
Favorite place? That is probably the hardest one to be able to answer. My breakfast place is going to be Turtle Beach Cafe on the boardwalk. I always like going there. You get a great view because you show up there for a sunrise, get a nice hot cup of coffee, and watch the sun go up. And then dinner time, that one's harder. I mean, because
so many good places.
I mean, I grew up also working at Harpoon Hannah's, so that's
can't beat that place. That's an awesome place.
Yeah. I
Good
still,
vibe, good food.
especially the prime rib special in the off season, can't beat that one.
Yeah, we go there for the crab, all you can eat crab legs, I
legs.
think it is.
Oh yeah.
Cool, man. All right, so biggest mistake being in business, and how can
Biggest
somebody learn from it?
mistake. I mean, there's been so many of them, honestly. And I think my biggest one sometimes is, I guess, I'm going too fast sometimes. I realize that I kind of need to tone it back. We've tried 3 properties so far to be able to build our new facility on, and none of them have worked out. Whether from it being covered in wetlands, and we didn't know it, and we invested a bunch of money into it, to our most recent one, unfortunately, was just the virus hit right at the time when we were about to close on a property, and we had to pull out because we needed all of our funds to make sure that we could make it through the year. So I take it a lot slower now. I don't go as fast. I really want to be safe with it and to make sure that I don't make those small mistakes.
I guess that leads into did you have any like big fears in starting this thing? And how did you overcome those?
Yeah, I mean, there's the biggest fear is that no one's going to like it, or that people are going to think poorly of what I do. Because there are a lot of people that are against the idea of having animals in captivity. And, so I have to strive every day to make sure everything's perfect. And, I want it to be perfect for the animals, but also, from the public's eye, they really, they judge you. So, if there's something that's just out of place, then they'll hit you really hard for it, especially, there's some organizations out there that are really against, what we do. So we have to make sure that we're always doing our best. And that's my biggest fear. I just don't want to upset anybody and get them mad enough to where they come after me and try to make me, stop what I'm doing.
Wow, that's I didn't even think about that. But so if somebody's listening right now and they're just having like a hard time, or they have a big idea, or something that may bring some value to the community, and they're on the fence over it because of some of these type of fears, how would you suggest they overcome those, or what did you do to kind of keep going?
Talk with everybody, to tell people the idea that you have, and ask other friends, family, and kind of get everyone's opinion. I think if you ask enough people, you're going to get a pretty good census on, is it a good idea or is it not? You get a lot of backlash when you tell people about the idea, then maybe you should reconsider it and, try a different, avenue. But
wow, that's great, man. And just based on our experience, I don't know what Daisy thinks, but I just felt like the animals are just so loved, and just your staff was just so amazing, and just hearing some of the history behind some of the animals and how they're struggling in the wild from poachers and things. It sounded to me like you guys were kind of saving the day and kind of really bringing these animals back to life, and doing a lot of good work behind the scenes. So.
Yeah, and the big idea of what we do is, although it's fun and it's exciting to be able to interact with these animals, not necessarily for us, but for everyone that comes, but it teaches you that you need to help protect these animals in the wild because they're vulnerable. They don't have a voice, so we have to be the voice for them. And by us teaching you and giving you these up close experiences, we hope that it builds your appreciation for them and wants to do more for them. A big thing that we did last year was in Australia, they had the bushfires. So we raised, a little over $30,000 for them, and took around 10 giant suitcases of medical supplies over there, and spent a month there helping, retrieving animals that were injured, finding orphan animals and taking care of them and releasing them. So there's a lot that, we can do, whether it's just donating to an organization that's willing to do that, to actually going over and, getting in there and helping as well.
Wow, that's great you brought that up. And I did see that, and 30 grand, wow, that's a lot. And so there's so many people that are looking for volunteer work and stuff around here, especially a lot of retired folks. So what I'm hearing is that there's all kinds of ways to support wildlife, and it's a unique way to kind of give back to the world and stuff. So if they were going to do that, they would also reach out to you guys in the Facebook in the Facebook page and let you guys know, hey, we want to volunteer, we want to donate, we want to do something like that, they can do that with you guys, right?
Yeah, so we're trying to develop a volunteer program right now. Since we, have open to the public, a lot more people are coming here, and that's a very common question: can I volunteer? We haven't hit the point yet, but I definitely recommend asking, because we're going to get there sooner than later. And as far as donating goes, you can sponsor Barn Hill Preserve, but we also have a nonprofit that we started that supports animals in the wild. So Global Wildlife Support is our one nonprofit that we have, and that's what we really use to help these different animals.
Yeah, that was my question, actually. I was going to ask about volunteering opportunities and nonprofit.
Well, what I'm hearing is that I'm sure it sounds like you guys are so humble that you're trying to give away to other places that need help. But it sounds like you guys could even use like donated land or, donated building supplies or materials to help you guys kind of get this going too, right?
Yeah, so especially our new sloth enclosure, we're actually gonna hopefully kick off in the next week or two a fundraiser for it to either get funds or supplies, and we just if we can get the community support with it, because everybody likes to come see them. If you want to help out with it, it's going to be a pretty big structure. So it's going to be a 40 by 50 building, and so it's a lot of work ahead to be able to get it completed in the next 2 months. But
great. I hope we can help out and promote this a little bit, and hopefully the community around here is awesome. So I'm sure that people will get involved and help out.
For sure.
All right, man. So you ready? Lightning round.
All right.
All right. What is the best book, tool, or software, or video, or Netflix, or YouTube, or whatever? What's the best thing that has inspired you or brought value to your life, and why?
I think anyone in my field all has the same answer, and that's going to be Steve Irwin. Watching him on Animal Planet, it's what made anyone in my field. That's usually the reason why we're in it, is watching him, and also working with his kids has been a huge inspiration as well.
Oh wow!
Oh yeah,
that's cool. So if there's any kids listening, I'm sure they can YouTube Steve Irwin and check that out. But now you're going to become one of those leaders, right? Cool.
Maybe a small compared to him, very small compared to him.
All right. And what's the biggest myth business owners need to know, and why?
The biggest myth. I think probably the biggest myth would be that you need a huge capital to be able to start a business, because I really don't think that's true. Even if you just have a small amount and you just start small, then you can make that grow into something huge. Wow. I didn't have hundreds of thousands of dollars to start Barn Hill Preserve, but we were able to grow it to a really large company.
Nice, man. I love that. That's good advice. Yeah. And I have a last question, but now I thought of one more. What is out of all the people you've met and all the questions you've gotten, what is the number one thing that you would leave people to know about animals?
I think that the number one thing to know about animals, and I'm trying to stall the answer so I can think of it.
or what's the number one question that you get from people?
The number one question, of course, is always going to be, do I love my job? Which is always an absolute yes. But it probably the most common question is it soft? Everyone always asks.
Oh yeah.
Is it soft? Sloths, are they soft? Kangaroos, are they soft? Most of the time, the answer is yes.
I actually asked that about the armadillo. I think had hair coming out the back, wasn't it?
Yeah.
He had little hairs. I was like, oh my gosh.
Like around the stomach. Oh yeah, and the back.
Yeah, he had like little whiskers. Yeah. That's funny.
And the owl.
The owl. Well, we weren't allowed to touch the owl.
Yeah, they're very, very soft. Honestly, a lot of animals are, especially the ones that are in captivity, because they don't have like all the dirt and everything. They're a lot cleaner with us.
And owls don't have oil, right? The oily feathers. It's they're like a dry feather.
Yeah.
They get wet.
See, I know stuff.
They say they get wet.
They get wet, yeah.
Instead of
And so what's the number one question I should have asked you? And what's your answer?
The number one question that you should have asked me is, what is my favorite animal? Because
What is your favorite animal? Yeah, that's perfect.
Sloth?
actually, Sasha is my favorite, our Eurasian lynx. He grew up in the house with me as just a little kitten, and he's definitely my favorite.
Oh, that's cool. Oh, we didn't get to see him.
Yeah.
No, we didn't
There,
see him.
you must have missed him.
Yeah.
Which one is he?
It was towards the end of the day, I think we went there.
Maybe, yeah. He's the Eurasian lynx, so he's like looks like a bobcat but bigger.
Yeah, we didn't.
Definitely didn't see him.
We've got 2 windows that you're able to see him in his enclosure.
Ah.
So, and he'll run around. He'll actually run back and forth with you, and so you can kind of see how fast and how high he can jump.
That's cool.
No, that's cool. Well, I will say it was very, very cold, so we didn't stay too long, but
Yeah.
cool, Josh. Well, guys, I hope you realize that you're going to have a nice 302 lifestyle being here, especially with all these new things popping up with Barnhill. Josh, I was so glad. We were so happy to have you on, and we look forward to seeing you in the future. And thanks, guys.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Wish you could spend more time having fun and less time with chores? Go to 302beachtalk.com to get $20 off a home cleaning. You'll be entered to win a completely free cleaning. Eat, play, serve. Sponsored by That Guy with a Broom.